What if I told you that a single thought, just one, could transform a forgotten, broken down, homeless man into a millionaire entrepreneur with a line of customers waiting at his door? Would you believe it? Elon Musk would. Steve Jobs lived by it. Napoleon Hill once wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But if that's true, why are so many people failing? Why are there so many invisible geniuses, wasted talent, and dreams gathering dust? Today, you're going to hear a true story. The story of a man society didn't even see, who discovered a mental key so powerful that it flipped his life upside down. With no money, no degree, and absolutely no chance. And when you understand what he discovered, you'll realize the only thing standing between you and your breakthrough is what you choose to believe right now. Imagine waking up every day to the roar of trains passing by, the chill of concrete against your body, and nowhere to go. That was Charles' life. No home, no phone, not even a name to anyone. There, on the platform at Grand Central Station, he was just another dirty face lost in the rush of New York City, living off coins. Some people tossed him change out of pity. Others didn't even look. Gray days, all the same. An endless loop of survival. Sometimes he talked to the pigeons, just to remember what it felt like to have a conversation. At night, he slept afraid of being kicked by a drunk or woken up by the NYPD. But the worst part wasn't hunger. It was being forgotten. That haunting sense that the world didn't care whether he existed or not. Until one day, seemingly just like all the others, a man in a suit stopped in front of him, not with coins, but with a question, one that would change absolutely everything. Why do you think you deserve anyone's money if you believe you have nothing to offer? That's all he said. Charles froze. His hand, stretched out waiting for change, trembled in the air. The businessman looked him in the eye, firm, not arrogant, but not pitying either. Think about it. And then he walked away. Just like that. That night, Charles couldn't sleep. The sentence pounded in his mind like a hammer. If I have nothing to give, then do I deserve to stay this way? The hunger faded. The cold didn't matter. All he could think was, am I really just dead weight in this world? For the first time, he began to doubt his misery. And for the first time, that doubt felt more powerful than the handout he didn't receive. But now what? He was a man with nothing. How could someone with nothing give something? That question became the starting point. And what he discovered the next day would change the game completely. The next morning, Charles woke up earlier than the sun. He looked down at his hands, still dirty, but for the first time, he saw tools. If I don't have money, I can give attention. I can give beauty. I can give joy. He wandered through the neighborhood, staring at the sidewalks, the front yards, the cracked brick walls, until he noticed a patch of wildflowers growing in an empty lot. They weren't perfect, but they were alive. He picked 5, tied them together with a piece of string he'd pulled from the trash, and went back to the station. He didn't ask for anything. He simply approached an older woman and said, "Ma'am, I just wanted to wish you a good morning." And he handed her the flower. The woman smiled, surprised, and before leaving, she discreetly slipped a $5 bill into his pocket. Charles froze. He hadn't begged. He hadn't pleaded. He hadn't asked. He gave first, and life gave back. The second day, he returned with 7 flowers. The third day, 12. By the fourth, people were already calling him the flower guy. But then came the problem. The flowers ran out. And what he did next was the first real step toward no longer being invisible. The lot was empty now, but Charles didn't stop. He started walking miles every day, searching for new gardens, for leftovers from florists, until he knocked on the door of a small shop and said, "I don't have money, but I have time. I can help out here, if you'll let me take the flowers you throw away." The owner looked at him, surprised, and agreed. 3 months later, Charles had a little pushcart he'd built himself, with flowers organized by color, by scent, even by occasion. This one's perfect for saying you're sorry. And this one's to celebrate something big. He was already speaking like a professional salesman. 6 months later, he returned to the same station where nobody used to notice him. But now, he was no longer invisible. A simple, clean suit, fresh haircut, and a huge bouquet in his hands. Standing in the very same spot where once he'd held out his hand for spare change. The businessman from months before walked by in a rush, looked at him, stopped. Charles smiled and said, "Today, I have something to offer." The truth is simple. You are never completely without something. Even on your worst days, you still have something no one else in the world has. You, your words, your time, your presence, your courage. Charles didn't become an entrepreneur because he got lucky. He became one because he chose to stop asking and start offering. And now I ask you, what do you have to offer the world today? It doesn't have to be money or talent. It could be an idea, an action, a simple gesture. Write in the comments one thing only you can give. That will be the very first step in your own transformation. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Maybe it's exactly what they need to hear today. Oh, and if you'd like to hear more stories like this, hit the like button, because that's what tells us you're ready for the next one.